The Toronto Raptors Summer League playoff hopes are all but over. They dropped their third Summer League game to the Utah Jazz 86-76, and unfortunately with the loss, it likely disqualifies the Raptors from the playoffs, as only 4 teams make it, the top 4 teams, and 7 teams are currently undefeated. So the Raptors, they will take on the Miami Heat on Friday. The Heat are a perfect 3-0. And then if they don't make the playoffs, it's looking like they're not, the Raptors will play one more game on the Saturday. Basically, top 4 teams make it to the semifinals. They play on the Sunday. For the 26 other teams that do not make it to the playoffs, they play their 5th and final game on the Saturday. So the Raptors, they lose this game, guys, and it was announced that Grady Dick and Jonathan Mobo missed this game. They did not play. They were ruled out before tip-off. Obviously, Grady Dick suffered that injury in the second half along with Mobo. Both of them were not in action for this one. As expected, the Raptors obviously not rushing them back in this situation. And you look at the Raptors, I mean, it was a struggle for this team to score. They really struggled offensively. The Raptors, they shot at just 37% from the field, just 23% from 3. It was a struggle, to say the least. Meanwhile, they allowed the Jazz to hit 52.3% of their looks. The Jazz shot at 31.8% from 3. As you look at the standouts for the Raptors in this one, guys, Javon Freeman-Liberty, he continues to play very, very well. He made the most out of his starting opportunity. He started in place of Grady Dick. He exploded. He had 24 points, 7 of 14 from the field. He was 3 of 6 from 3. And it was really nice to see, him get it going. And it's going to be important because Javon Freeman-Liberty is one of the players without a fully guaranteed contract. So he has $100,000 guaranteed, and that's going to increase to $150,000 next week, and then $800K if he makes the opening night roster. And Blake Murphy wrote this in his latest piece that his future could very well depend on the whole Vezenkov situation. Reportedly, he's a well-liked piece, obviously making the most out of his opportunity, but we'll see kind of, if Javon Freeman-Liberty sticks around. Blake Murphy does mention that he would have immediate two-way interest around the NBA if the Raptors indeed let him go. But he's been playing very well this summer league. He has been one of the bright spots. So Javon Freeman-Liberty had a nice outing. It was great seeing Jamal Shed. He was out there early on taking charges, and we know this guy's mold, very physical, tenacious defensively. You look at him in this one, he did struggle from the field. He did have 7 turnovers, but I like kind of what Shed has shown us from the defensive perspective, where this guy, he's a grinder. He's got a high motor. He's going to fight hard. He's going to play hard, and he's going to give you his all. So you can never really discredit Shed's effort. He's always going to bring it at a high level. And then there was a nice couple of possessions, I thought, from Ulrich Chomchi. He continues to look a lot more comfortable out there. I thought, he has done a really good job in the minutes that we have seen him in. He had 6 points, 7 rebounds, and this is a guy who is progressing a lot quicker than a lot of people thought. This is obviously a developmental pick, a project pick. It's going to take some time. He's going to spend a lot of time in 905, but I kind of like what we've seen from Chomchi through the first 3 games. So he's a guy who's going to continue to get more reps in the Raptors' final 2 summer league games. Again, they got the Heat on Friday, and then they'll play that 5th and final game in all likelihood on this Saturday. But yeah, he has been, it's been nice to see him contribute from off the bench in 18 minutes, 3 or 4 from the field. Again, those 7 rebounds, you can't really ask for more from Chomchi. He did have the 7 fouls, but this is a guy who has shown that he can be a very, very positive piece for this Raptors future going forward. All right, those were those were the positives. There were a few positives, to say the least. There were a lot of negatives, and let's talk about some of them. And I do want to just mention off the bat here, because I didn't mention him in greater detail in the last video. Ochai Agbaji, you look at his game here, 4 of 9, 9 points in 25 minutes. He did have 3 steals. We know Agbaji is a good defensive player. Nobody's doubting that. But look at what he's been doing offensively. It's just not cutting it, especially in this situation, having a game like this where, it's your 3rd summer league game. By the way, you've been in the league, you're 24 years old. You should dominate a game like this. Grady Dick's not in the lineup. So you should have the offense really resonate through you, and you should look comfortable, and you should generate, positive offensive sequences and get your offense going, to get your shot to fall, look more competent, shooting the jump shot and hit a couple of threes. And really, Abaji, he has not shown you that he's got it in him. And it really is concerning because the Raptors had hoped he could kind of get it going here, have more reps under his belt, really show you what he can give you offensively. And it's really tough to look at Abijah right now and say, can this guy be a impactful everyday rotation piece? Again, he's going to bring it defensively. There's a lot of good things on that side, but offensively, he has really not been to where you want him to be. Based on what we've seen, you really don't have any sense of optimism that Abijah is going to pan out as well as you had hoped he would offensively. So hopefully he can figure it out soon. But, that has been one guy that I've been really looking at, and he hasn't really shown me a whole ton. You look at this one as well, Jacoby Walter, he struggled mightily. I was expecting to see more from him. I said it in the preview piece that I put up on RaptorsNation.com. I wanted to see Jacoby Walter have a big game. Game one, you attribute it to first game, trying to get familiar, with the surroundings, get used to the whole flow. Second game, he didn't shoot it as well as you would have liked, but still had a much better game in game two. So it's like, okay, game three, this is going to be the Jacoby Walter game. He's really going to have a nice performance. And really, look at Walter, just 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. And it's the 0 of 6 from 3 that really concerns me, because it's like, you're going to want this guy to be that reliable 3-point shooter. You want Jacoby Walter to become, that 3-and-D type player, especially offensively. Like the Raptors, they lost Gary Trent Jr., and the hope is that, Jacoby Walter can become that offensive weapon, but then also give you more in other areas, something that Gary Trent Jr. wasn't able to do, which is why he's no longer with the team. So again, I'm not overreacting here. It's just 3 summer league games, but I just hope, Jacoby Walter can get that 3-point shot to fall, can get these numbers more consistent, and we start to see the positive effect that he can have with his offensive game, because he could definitely hoop. He could definitely score the basketball. He could definitely be an elite shooter. We've seen it in stretches, but can he put it all together at the next level and really be that impactful shooter and that, scoring punch that this Raptors team is going to need out of him? His defense overall has been good, but can Jacoby Walter, step it up and really show you that he can be that shooting piece that the Raptors, drafted essentially. So that's another guy who hopefully he can finish up summer league strong. So outside of that, this was definitely a tough game for the Raptors. Offensive struggle. Their defense didn't look as sharp as it did in the first 2 games, but you look at some of the standouts, some of the guys that need to step up. That's what you're going to look out for, I would say, in the final couple of summer league games here. Can Okai show you some more? Can he have a big outing? And then, how is Jacoby Walter going to look? But really, going back to the positives, I've been really, really impressed when talking about the youngsters by Ulrich Chomchi. I think he has been really, really solid this early. And I am looking forward to seeing what more he can bring. And then, like I said, Jamal Shed, he's going to have the off nights offensively, but I think he continues to bring it where you want him to bring it. That's defensive intensity, the hustle, just the overall effort level that he plays with. So, we'll see if, some of these guys can show you a little bit more as we close out summer league. Like I said, the Raptors will in all likelihood not be a part of that Final Four. So these next 2 games are just basically going to be more tune-up games just to kind of see what you have from this group. And I would not be surprised if Dick is shut down for the rest of summer league, and it remains to be seen what's going to happen with Mobo. If he's shut down for the rest of summer league, or if we're going to see him at least one more time. So let me know your thoughts on this game, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. You can follow me at Luca Rosano3 on X. I'll be back at it again tomorrow with the Raptors Nation podcast. I'll kind of talk about summer league as a whole and some other talking points that have been happening in Raptorland. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for that. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next video.